Welcome back to part 3 of the restoration. So let's get started. Went ahead and mounted the picture tube in the set. We've got enough bench room now to where I can maneuver it around and I can still have room to work. Well, after just using test leads and clipping caps in temporarily, 2 electrolytics up there and 1 right there. Making a little progress. Tuner's not working, of course no sound. So I think the next step is to permanently mount these electrolytics. Get them taken care of. There are a couple of more. This is a 2-section and that's a 2-section that I need to replace also. And then once I get all of them put in, I'll start tackling these paper caps. That's probably what's causing the vertical problem. Oh, and I do have almost 10,000 volts, which is pretty close to normal. It's supposed to be 10.4. The only issue is when you drive the tube a little hard. See, the high voltage drops down. So my B plus is 365, which is pretty much spot on. I have some high voltage. I have a picture display coming out of my signal generator. And I have it hooked up to the video detector 6AL5 on pin 7, which goes on out through the video output tube and then onto the CRT. So I'm clipped in right here with my signal generator. And that's where I'm getting the pattern on the screen. So it's encouraging, making a little progress. The other thing I've been doing is cleaning these wires. Trying to get some of the sticky off. And they look better too. You can tell kind of what color they are now. But I also cleaned the yoke wires. The back of this yoke, the back cover is all disintegrated, so I just put that red tape on just to protect the connections where I wouldn't stick my finger against one of them. But I've cleaned all the wires coming out of the yoke. You can see here they're nice and clean. This set uses 5 electrolytic caps. You can see them right there, C1 through C5. I have changed C1, C2, and C4. C3 goes to the ratio detector tube in the audio circuit, and it's just a 10 mic 50 volt. And then the C5 goes to the vertical output tube, and that's just 100 mic at 25 volt. So we'll get those 2 changed, and all the electrolytics will be replaced. Here's C3, goes to the audio detector tube, and then C5 goes to the vertical output tube, and it goes to pin 2, which is a globby looking mess right there. What they've done, they've got one tacked in right here. We can mount a small one over here somewhere. Starting to change some of the paper caps. Put in a couple here. There's that electrolytic that they had mounted down here at the bottom. But change that one. But this cap right here, you can see it's a point. It says 0.005. That one right there. Goes to pin 1, horizontal multiplier tube. And according to the SAMs, pin 1 is a 0.02. And here's the Beatman. Pin 1 right there. And the Beatman, 0.02. For the parts layout, C71 is a 0.02. Was that a factory change? Possibly. It doesn't look like it's been an aftermarket. I mean, it's soldered well. It don't look like it's ever been, or that it was hacked in later. So I guess I'll go with a .005 like is in it. Will probably work either way, but this certainly looks like factory. It's got the cloth insulation on it. So I'm going to put in a .005. And it seems to be the same brand as several of these paper caps in the set, so I think that's an original cap. .005, 600 volt. And here's another case where a smaller cap will work in the place of a larger size. It goes here to pin 1, right here. And there's actually a ground lug right here on pin 7, so we can just put it from here to here. And as I remove these older caps, they'll uncover. It uncovers some more wires that need to be cleaned, like right up in there. See that one there? Sticky looking, or sticky, the red wire too, so I can clean those off before I put another cap here to replace this orange drop that someone's put in. Here's another example of how capacitor technology has changed. This is an old 0.1 600 volt, and here's a modern equivalent. How much smaller it is. And that old one went from pin 4 of this tube socket down to ground down here. So it took up all of that space. There's this new smaller cap right there. This goes from pin 4 of this socket right to ground. Dive into this high voltage problem and see if I can figure out what's going on there. Well, a simple fix on the high voltage problem: rectifier tube. And these are very hard to check with a tube tester. It wasn't shorted or open, but it was definitely not working when you varied the brightness. Now you can see, turning the brightness up. So that took care of that. Next we'll start on the tuner and see if we can figure it out. But it's definitely a bad rectifier tube. It's a 1B3. Starting to check the tuner, and I have been able to get a faint image. That's on channel 4 out of this little B&K generator. And the only way I was able to get any kind of image was to clean these strips in the tuner. Let's see, that's 3 and that's 4. I have those cleaned off really well. You can see the others, how crusty and dirty that they are. I've also cleaned channel 6 strip, which is this one, and that's what my blonder tongue modulator works on, is channel 6. Continue working. It could be a tuner problem, could be an IF problem. So I have to do some more checking to see. Contacts in the tuner don't look really good either. Here's what, just scraped a couple of them, and I don't know that this will help, but you can see the difference. That's a contact that's not used. Look how pristine it is. Well, time to quit today. Just to recap, that's channel 3 coming out of the signal generator. There's channel 6 off the blonder tongue. Very faint, but we've got a little bit of sound and a washed out picture, so that's a good time to quit. Have to investigate further. I'm going to show you another example of how these resistance charts that come with the SAMs are really very useful when troubleshooting. My washed out picture, I think I just found the reason why. If you look here on these resistance readings on V4, which is a second IF, we should have on pin 5 100 ohms, and this is measured to the 110 volt B plus line. 100 ohms on pin 5, 100 ohms on pin 6. Well, pin 6 is right here, and we have 96.5 ohms, and then this coil right here, it's between pin 5 and pin 6, and pin 5 we have nothing. And I got to looking, and there's a, you can see it, there's a wire coming out of the coil right there. See, it's moving. That should go to pin 5 of the second IF tube, and that wire is broken. So hopefully I can just repair that. Here's the coil right here, pin 6 and pin 5, and here's a 100 ohm resistor that reads to the 110 volt line right there. So if I can repair that, that should help a lot. These resistance charts are so handy when troubleshooting. Time for another break. Thanks for watching part 3. Stay tuned for part 4 when I'll be finishing up the chassis work, and then we can start working on that rough looking cabinet, trying to make it look better. We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, and we'd love it if you would subscribe to our channel. Thanks.